Dean Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have our usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean, or simply Dean. We have Spigs18 or Anthony. And Dean, what are we doing here today?
Well, hey, it's our last show of the year. We're going to do what, everybody likes to do, a year-end review, talk about a few things, laugh, giggle, joke, blah, blah, blah. Typically bullshit. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to talk about, actually, Anthony, you take over.
First off, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrated. I hope it was festive and enjoyable for you and your family. And like Dean said, it's still, end of the year. Let's keep it real. This was a horrible freaking year. Can't end soon enough. But, MCG had a pretty productive year. So I guess we'll go over, Monte Cook Games year. We'll talk about, their release schedule, what came out. We'll talk about, what can we look forward to in 2021. We'll also talk about it's no secret Monte Cook Games does Kickstarter as their business model. So we'll talk about the two Kickstarters that we had this year and what we wish the two upcoming Kickstarters are going to be for 2021. I think that'll be a lot of fun. What do you guys think?
Yeah, most definitely.
I can deal with that.
They did go. They did make a lot of stuff this year, which is a lot of awesome stuff. I'm sure everyone here is aware of the stuff they've put up. But we're gonna go over. It looks like they've released 18 new products in 2020. Nice sizable number. And
Hey, Al, I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt. What's up, guys? I don't know who that is from Rule of Lore, but hey, fellas, how y'all doing? You gotta holler at the boys, Go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
No biggie. I mean, that's what Twitch is for. But what you call it? So they released 18 products in 2020, and let's go over that list, and I'll have accompanying pictures, and we'll just cycle through them, and maybe mention a couple things about it. There's something to talk about it, but yeah. So first on the list, as you already can see it, is the Numenera character portfolio. That came out in February of 2020. A nice little set of character things. If you have it, it's like a booklet for your character sheet, basically. Very nice stuff.
Yeah, when you back the Kickstarter, I think this was a Discovery and Destiny Kickstarter. You got five copies, unless I'm mistaken.
Something like that.
It's like 5.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, unfortunately, due to COVID, I haven't had a chance to actually physically use one, but they're really, really nice, well-made books.
What's kind of cool about them, though, is the fact that we got them digitally as well. I've actually used them digitally, which is pretty cool, since, the world has gone digital. So it's been pretty nice to be able to give those out. Especially introducing some of my friends who only played in person. They were pretty impressed with them.
That's another great point, Dean. If you have a steady group and it's your group that you play with every week, bi-weekly, whatever the case may be, is you could physically just give them this little pamphlet book and all the information, all their notes, everything could be in one concise, neat little package, one place. And you could even take the books back to read what notes they wrote when you go do your prep, and you then give it back to them.
Yep. And I'm one of those GMs, that became a habit over the years. I used to collect the character sheets at the end of our sessions and keep them because people will forget their character sheets or whatever case may be. So that just became kind of a habit anyway. So now with the character portfolios, that does sound like a dream because people write little notes, and it's just like cool to be able to say, oh yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because in our old D&D group, that my friend Jason lost like every character sheet we ever gave him, so then I wind up having to collect all the sheets. Like after the third time he lost the sheet, I'm like, okay, you know what? All the sheets get turned back in.
So it was like classroom. It was like, all right, class is over. Turn in your sheets.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Those are the days, man. Those are those good times, though.
They released a couple other products in February. I'll do the next one, and then Dean, you can do the next one. But the Invisible Sun slipcase was also released in February 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was very nice. The slipcase, I I was late to the party. I didn't buy my original Invisible Sun with the first Kickstarter. I got it on the second one, and that slipcase is really nice. You know, especially for those additional books that come out, like Book M and Threshold and all that, to have a nice, you know, little thing, and it just kind of all themes together. You know, you can't see behind me because I got my virtual background, but my black cube, my books in a slipcase, you know, what is it, the Night Side book, all of that stuff, it just looks really nice together.
Yeah, it's definitely nice getting these slipcases added. You know, because again, like you said, it looks really nice together with like the accompanying pieces. Like that must look very gorgeous next to the black cube. But I do not own these particular books, sadly.
Yeah, first of all the slipcases are awesome. I wish they had slipcases for everything.
Yeah.
But you know, like I really love the concept. I will say this though, you know, it is kind of hard to justify spending money for a case though. You know, like to
Just a slipcase.
yeah.
That's why I kind of like it when it does become part of a Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely.
So moving on to our next February product, by far, gotta be, if it's not number one, it's number two product of the year as far as I'm concerned. Stay Alive was just a unexpected wonder. I really was not expecting to love this book so much. I remember getting the PDF. The night I got the PDF, I was like ranting to these guys. I read the PDF twice in the same, you know, from cover to cover. And it has been, you know, it's just been a pleasure to use it. It's been a pleasure to revisit it. You know, it was great for Halloween. It was just, again, great product. Stay Alive, you know, one of the first books of the Your Best Game Ever genre toolkit books, you know. And if you don't know about those are all those books, you know, have a genre that they do a huge overview of and then allow you to give you a mini setting and lots of pieces and parts to plug and play with. Great product.
It definitely was I think my favorite of those books that got released, the newer setting books, like Stay Alive, what is it? The Stars of Fire, We're All Mad Here. I actually haven't, y'all are going to shame me for this one. I haven't redeemed my Godforsaken yet. I've been extremely lazy about it. I know y'all are probably going to drag me for it. So right now, Stay Alive is currently my favorite of those books because I haven't looked at Godforsaken yet.
I mean, I'm just going to say this, that February of 2020, the year was already set for me. Once Stay Alive came out, it was a successful year for MCG in my eyes. My absolutely hands down my favorite book of the year. Like they mentioned in chat, it's a horror supplement, but it can be used for pretty much any genre. You know, horror is one of those genres that has so many subsets that it basically fits in every other genre. So even if you're not a hardcore horror fan, but you want to do that Halloween Numenera game or that Halloween Supers game, you know, it gives you rules and it gives you tools to use in pretty much any genre. And the way it's written as a toolkit is, you know, Sean really did his thing with this book. You know, I can't say enough nice things about Stay Alive.
Yeah, that book was just fantastic all around, like just so good.
Yeah, the book was crazy. I don't know, you guys remember how I was acting, you know, when it first came out. I was like, you gotta read it. You gotta read
twice,
it. Just
right? First night.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And the cover's freaking awesome.
Yeah, if you can see it there on stream. Yeah. Nice little cover with an Among Us guy on it because that's my cursor.
Those covers actually for all these books were awesome.
Yes.
You know, it was really nice to get the prints. I just got to find me some nice frames and put them up somewhere.
Oh, I haven't even redeemed those either.
You see, I haven't redeemed my prints because for some reason when I redeemed Godforsaken, I didn't realize that I had the coupon for the prints. So now I don't want to redeem something for like $2 and have them mail me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to wait for another book to come up.
I mean, I guess I'll be getting my prints once I go and redeem Godforsaken.
Hey, Crawdaddy, you talking about some sci-fi? Me I think Anthony and we both have done sci-fi one-shot, sci-fi horror one-shots.
Me too, actually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
L2, that's right. And everybody's has been really, really successful. I ran one that was a psychological horror, and then ran one that was like in the vein of xenomorphs, you know. Oh, and then I did a superhero sci-fi horror too, which was xenomorphs, and it's a lot of fun, you know.
For me, I actually ran a one shot for a Smash Brothers buddy of mine. He told me he's like into D&D, so I was like, I already threw a story. What kind of story do you want? He's like, it's like space horror. So I was like, okay, we can do that, no problem. But I also, since he had like a D&D ish background and enjoyed that dungeon crawl aspect, I incorporated my Darkest Dungeons rules into him exploring the derelict ship.
Nice.
So it actually worked out super good. There was insanity and stuff, and it worked out so well. I should actually run that again. It was a lot of fun. But we could talk about stories about games all day. Let's move on to their March releases. So in March of 2020, this year, they first released the Numenera Playmat, a gorgeous little supplement for people, physical supplement, just like most of the other playmats. It has gorgeous piece of art in the middle, and some rules references on the side.
And it's big.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
freaking gigantic. I don't know the exact measurements off the top of my head, but it's a big boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, a quite fantastic supplement for those who enjoy the sort of thing. It was a goal. It was what did it come with? I forget. It was
It was
the
in the it
Discovery
was in
Destiny, or was it something else?
no, it was I think it was in your best game ever too.
What this? I think this was Discovering Destiny. I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But either way, it's amazing.
Or was it
looking.
Liminal Shores?
Mm. You might be
Um,
right, Dean. No, I think Dean's right. It was Liminal Shores.
Yeah, it was probably Liminal Shores. It was because it
They
was a
had
new
they had
year.
so many great Kickstarters, which
it's
we'll
hard to
get
keep
to.
track.
It's hard to keep track.
But yeah, this is an amazing. All their playmats are really nice, but this art they chose for the middle here, very very epic feeling. Um,
A quick question, guys. How was the transition? Because all three of us came from other systems. Going from having a GM screen to having a flat mat. Me personally, I love it because now I don't have like that barrier between me and the players. But I know some people, like especially like if I go on Reddit, or they're not fans of the flat GM screen or rules in a mat as per se, on the screen.
I
You
mean,
know,
oh,
um, for me it was kind of cool because I like the fact that the map is a reference tool. It's not just for the GM. The GM screen was a tool for the GM, and you have to think about it. You know, once you paradigm shift out of the thought process of traditional gaming where there's two different sides to the table, as opposed to this interactive story that's going on. I think it becomes easier, but and that was just it for me. Once I embraced that concept, it became easier, and it was like great because people have questions, and it keeps the game moving because what? Oh, wait a minute, oh yeah, I need a 9 or better, because they can look at it themselves while I'm still you know telling the story.
I mean, honestly, I didn't really have much experience with DMing before coming to Cypher System. Anthony, you were part of my first GM session ever, and it was online, so I didn't even have a GM screen. So I don't really have experience with that little barrier of a GM screen. But I will say this: that the mat's super nice. Like Dean was saying, it's a reference tool for everybody to use. That's super nice. If a player is unsure of something, you can take a quick look at the mat in front of them. And on top of that, it's really nice to roll dice on these things. That's something I enjoy. I enjoy like
Yeah,
that
in
little
fact, the
sound of
dice
them
will
hitting
not,
the padding, and then it's nice.
it's kind of a good alternative to a dice tower or a dice tray. You know,
I also thought that screens always created like this like makeshift barrier between you and the players, and it kind of fostered that us against the GM
yep,
mentality. And you know, when it's amazing like what little things can do. Like just getting rid of the screen, and it's, you know, it's no longer me against you. It's us. We're telling a collaborative story together. Let's have a good time. You know, it's just those like little things could change the whole mood and atmosphere of a game. And I really love how you know, like just not having a screen created that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, it really promoted the idea of interactive storytelling as opposed to I'm playing a game. You know.
And just so for the record, if anyone that hasn't gotten this mat, if you have any of the Cypher System or Monte Cook Games mats, this mat is almost double that size. So if you only gonna purchase one mat, purchase this one because this one is awesome.
Most definitely. And just quickly, I guess I can move on to the next thing just because it's March. I'll just go over all of March.
Yeah.
They only
Just to give you an idea of how big it is.
Oh, he actually went and got it.
Just to give you an idea of how big it is.
It doesn't even fit in your camera's like range that I have set up on OBS.
That's what I'm saying. That's a massive piece of work right there, and it's beautiful.
Literally a cape.
Fizzle
like,
said it's a cape.
Literally a cape.
That's a good one.
But the next thing they released in March were the Numenera Exp Deck. Or was the Numenera Exp Deck. Very gorgeous art on these things. And a nice physical tool if you happen to be running games in person. Always nice to have that little physical reminder of their EXP instead of having to like jot down on a note paper like, hey, they have one or two. These physical tokens, I mean, we've spoken about these at length before, but it's always nice to have them because it kind of reminds a player, hey, I can use this while I play. And it's sort of like, again, a physical reminder is that they can take advantage of the EXP bonuses or benefits. And I feel like a lot of the time, and I've seen it a lot in my real life games where I don't implement my EXP cards, my players are keeping track on paper how much XP they have, and they end up forgetting, like, oh, I forgot I could use EXP to reroll or like do something. And then, the cards are a very great reminder for the players that they can use them.
I've become a big fan of props, even in the sense that, you know, miniatures and stuff are not necessary for Cypher System because it's not quote unquote a tactical game. But I just like props. I love visual aids, anything that will engage a player at the table, you know. So I use them all the time. And like you said, the EXP cards, and these are absolutely freaking gorgeous. You know,
they are.
I think they kind of spoiled it for everyone because, to be honest, you know, you can't go back to the other XP cards.
Oh yeah, with just the numbers on them. Yeah, no, they kind of goofed a little because not every EXP deck is gonna have to have crazy art on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting now because, you know, the other ones look like Uno cards.
Yeah,
compared to these.
Seriously, it's just a big old 1 or a big old 4 in the middle, and that's it, just on a plain background. And now we have these gorgeous ones with this fantastic art on it.
Those are sit over
how could they release, you know, the basic kind again, you know?
Yeah.
Oof, but I guess we can move it along. I'll let Dean take over April.
April saw the Night Side book. This was a gorgeous product. It literally came with a bag in order to keep the darkness in. You know, it's for Invisible Sun. It's the darker magic, you know, the magic that, you know, you're not supposed to be practicing. And you know they marketed this one brilliantly, you know, by telling you that, you know, it has a rune of protection on the front, you know, to lock the magic away so it doesn't taint your other books and things of that nature. It's a really nice product. It's pretty. Some of the spells and concepts within it are, again, top notch, like, you know, like Monte Cook is known for. I really enjoy the Invisible Sun games that I've played. It's really a different kind of game. And even playing it online, it's an experience, you know, and way more about getting into telling a story as opposed to worrying about game mechanics and ideology, you know, and, you know, game in the system per se. So great product.
Yeah, I'm the same boat as you, Dean. first of all, Nightside is an awesome product. I don't have as much experience with Invisible Sun as I like to. There's not enough hours in the day for us to get all our gaming in and do everything. But Invisible Sun is absolutely a game I've played a couple of times, but I haven't really gotten into a full run, like a mini campaign or something. So that's probably going to be one of our New Year's resolutions for 2021. We probably either us are going to run it or we'll get somebody on the CU server to run us through some Invisible Sun. But 2021, we definitely have to get involved a little more with Invisible Sun.
I'm down with that, fellas. Definitely.
Most definitely.
Anthony, it's on you.
Oh, I thought you were doing all of April.
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna do all of April.
Yeah,
Okay.
might as well just break it down by month.
Yeah.
Well, the next in line was Arcana of the Ancients. That came from the Arcana of the Ancients Kickstarter that was done, where basically Monte Cook decided to bring Numenera to D20. Great concept to bring some of those D20 people in line to experience the Ninth World and its own and all of its glory. It's kind of funny because this was the only Kickstarter I did not back, which, like an idiot, I look back on it and go, you stupid. Because I didn't back it, but I bought all the damn books. I bought all the products. I should have just went on ahead and backed it and been done with it,
Just like we're always saying, the Kickstarter is the best bang for your buck.
It's definitely the best bang for your buck, I mean, I was lucky enough to get most of the books during that one sale they had where they had the 50% off sale. So it worked out pretty nice there. But, I didn't get the PDFs and all that kind of stuff. I had to, get the PDFs as well, because all their PDFs are hyperlinked. And if you're playing online, you really don't want to be sitting there with a stack of physical books trying to page through. But Arcana of the Ancients is, like I said, 5th edition, basically 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but it brings Numenera, the science fantasy aspect to Dungeons and Dragons. And it's really a nice product. And as again, you can never go wrong with the artwork that these guys put into their books. The artwork is so freaking inspirational. It has you sitting there going, wow, and then I want to put this monster. Yeah, I want to ram this down some guys' throats,
And
So,
real quick
good
before
stuff.
we continue, someone named Louis JRT, they just came to say they wish that Cypher, or excuse me, they work on Cypher on Fantasy Ground. I'm not sure if Fantasy Grounds was specifically mentioned when we spoke to.
They did.
They specifically. All right, yeah. So they actually
Fantasy
are.
Ground-
Yeah, I'll let you talk.
Well,
about it.
real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, Al. Fantasy Grounds and Foundry Virtual Tabletop and Astral and all that were mentioned as secondaries. Their primary is going to be Roll20. That's where they have a partnership or a relationship with right now. But they did say that there will be support for those other places too. I mean, it's just a sign of the ages, people. We're living in a digital age. We're in a situation, so everything is going to start seeing a little uptick in support.
I also, just to chime in on this, because this comes up a lot, MCG is not a big company. There's literally 10 people in the entire company which produce all the products, and just for them to to work out these contracts and to figure out like everything that needs to be done in the VTT space takes a little more time than usual, because it's essentially one person, Charles Ryan, figuring it all out on his own, and it takes a little more time than it does with bigger companies. And like what Dean said, I think that the first go round is with Roll20, but Charles absolutely said to us that he's going to be working on getting material on all these platforms. I just think it's going to take a little more time than normal.
Which again, understandable. You just gotta. Patience is a virtue, they say. But yeah, I think we can move it along.
Hold on a sec. I was just I didn't get to talk about Arcana.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mitch. Yeah, go ahead.
Arcana the Ancients, to me, was a beautifully well written book. I really enjoyed the read. I think they handled Numenera well on 5e. But it was was unusual for me because I'm still not sure if I was totally in agreement with moving the concepts of Numenera into 5e. I understand why it was done, but I think one of the things that makes Cypher System and Numenera special is the rule set, and I think something gets lost a little in the translation from the D20 rule set to the Cypher System rule set.
Well,
So I just thought that it's worth mentioning that, yeah, will you get the same experience playing Numenera on 5e? Absolutely. But I prefer to play it in the Cypher System rule set.
well, you know what, Anthony. That being said, if you coming from that standpoint, I mean that is what it is. I mean, you're always going to lose a little something in that respect because D&D just is played differently. D&D, the whole concept of D&D, and a lot of people get frustrated when I say it, but it is the idea of optimization. It's character optimization is the ultimate goal, and it's played more like a game. Where I think the thrust of Cypher System, but Numenera especially, even when it was originally built, Numenera was built as a game of discovery. You didn't earn experience for combat. You didn't earn experience for defeating a monster. You earned experience for finding, for exploring. And so, yeah, that's what's lost in the translation.
Yeah, and Mr. Fizzer brought up a point that we've mentioned in several of our videos. Is it also brought about the question of why am I going to learn a new system when I can learn it in 5e? It could have the reverse effect. You're going to bring in the audience from 5e and from D20, but you might bring them in, but they're not necessarily going to translate into your system. They're right. Just going to because we kind of do the same thing with our system. We'll find something cool in another system like Cyberpunk, and be like, oh, I'll run it in Cypher System.
Mm-hmm.
Big facts. That basically happens with everything I end up reading tabletop wise. I'm like, oh, what is it? Rod, Reel, and Fish? Oh, I could do that. Or Rod, Reel, and Fish. I could do that in Cypher System. Or like not Shadow of the Demon Lords. I actually didn't read that one too much. But a lot of these other books, I'm just like, we can just do this in Cypher System. Why? Like the setting's amazing. Let's just do it in Cypher System.
And you did it with the Genesis.
Yes, with the Genesis. Yes, absolutely, I did that.
And I think what's funny, when we're saying this though, the funniest part to me about it is that I think that's what happens once you embrace Cypher and realize its flexibility. That it's not that the other games are bad or anything is wrong with them. You know what? This is just a sweet spot. I mean, I'll tell everybody, I order tons of games. I've just got my, my codexes for 5e, with all the mythological, characters like Hercules and Zeus, and they got all the weapons, Mjolnir and all this. And I love it. It's great reads. But it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to fit real nice in Cypher. Because, Cypher is my sweet spot. It just works. And it's no work.
So you guys ready to move on to May?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. The first book that came out in May of 2020 is a book that I honestly have not seen or even looked at. Was the Van Houten collection.
Magical Praxis.
I'm going to have to say I have not really read it or anything myself either.
I just ordered it.
I'm gonna have to order it because I didn't even realize until I was putting this list together that this is a book that I do not own.
Yeah, you are the same for me and you both. I missed it. I don't know how, but I did. I missed it. Like what? It's a book.
So if anybody in chats actually this is a collection of art, I believe, right?
Yes.
Big shrug.
Actually, Al, you happen to really like art books. This is something that probably be up your alley.
It just went under under the radar because where would this even get released? Like, was this part of a Kickstarter or like?
I don't think so.
I think it just kind of came up. Let me.
I mean, if it's an art book, I'll definitely look at it. I literally had no idea what this was when I was looking at our notes. I was like, what? And I looked at the image. I was like, I don't recognize this at all.
Right. like I said, it's like in the back of my head. I know it exists, but I don't remember.
All right, and I have another stupid question.
Art is
This
so
is
cool.
for it. This isn't Numenera art though, right?
I have no
This
idea.
is
Now I think this is all Invisible Sun.
oh yeah, it's all an Invisible Sun. That's crazy art.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if if you're a fan of Numenera, like I see Mr. Fizzer says they wouldn't collect anything if it wasn't Numenera art, but like Invisible Sun could probably be used to, like as for Numenera inspiration as well because that art is pretty out there. Some nice
Okay, so
weird
guys,
stuff
it's
in
only a
there.
digital book.
Oh,
so-
Oh, okay.
interesting. A digital collection.
I'm not sure if I would want an art book digitally though.
Yeah, I definitely prefer having that like.
Yeah, art
looking
books
at
are
it.
coffee table material. You know conversation.
Print 'em out.
pieces. Yeah.
Ooh. But either way, I think we can move on to the next thingy.
Yep. June. Who's moving on to June? That's you, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
My
go.
job was easy. May had one thing.
So June, we had our first thing that released. Very nice little thing. Actually, I haven't read it. Probably one of y'all gonna have to speak more on it. But the heist on Miracle 4. Yeah, I'll let y'all speak on it. I actually have not looked at it much, but yeah, it was made by Dominic Dickey, the intern for Monte Cook Games over the summer, I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know if they're still there or not. But yeah, it was something they made while interning at Monte Cook Games. I've heard nothing but good things about it from everyone who's spoken about it, so I'll let y'all speak about it.
I ran it. I ran it a couple of times. It is a solid adventure. It has a nice flow to it. You know, Dominique seemed to take her lessons well. You know, there when she crafted this particular adventure, and it's basically kind of like Ocean's 11, if you will. It's it's got a couple of twists and turns to it, but it's pretty solid.
But yeah, you guys know me. I'm not usually one to collect or read pre-made things because I have a problem reading. I even have a problem reading like the source books and stuff. Like, I'm like the worst reader out of everybody who's ever played tabletop games.
To go back, somebody just said that the Van Houten book wasn't only art. There was long form magic and new secrets. Thank you for that.
Oh, and minor magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Great.
So there is stuff in it. That's awesome.
Like I said, it's in my. I gotta.
I wonder
it up.
why they don't have a print version though. That's weird.
But either way, do you guys? I don't know what y'all want to talk
I was gonna. I never ran Heisen Miracle 4. I only was a player. Had a great time. It was awesome. They did an awesome job. Dominique did a phenomenal job. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good session. Really fun game. And it's I believe you can pick it up for $2.99. It's a 4 to 5 hour
adventure for $3.
Yeah, you can't go wrong for $3.
Most definitely. But yeah, everyone I've heard talk about it on the server has sung high praises of it. They've enjoyed it. So if you enjoy pre-made, pre-written adventures, nice little one-shot, is a nice go-to. And next on the list we have Voices of the Data Sphere. Boom. Nice art. I believe, was this Liminal Shores or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, another book I don't own, so I'll let y'all.
I'll go first, and I'll let D. This book was awesome. This book was Tron in Numenera, or at least that's how I saw it. And I remember at Gen Con 2 years ago when they announced this book, everything they said that was going to be in this book was in this book. This is one of the, everybody knows I'm more of a generic guy. But this is one of the Numenera books that spoke to me before it got released, and it didn't disappoint. I absolutely loved it. Voices of the Data Sphere. It's one of my favorite Numenera books.
Yeah, I will second that. Voices of the Data Sphere was very smartly done. The fact that I got to run the one adventure in there. I can't remember the title, but the one that we ran for Gen Con. Great adventure. Just it's just layers. You know, it's not only a book that you can use for Numenera, but you can use it for anything in Cypher system.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I've got ideas out of it. You know, to set up. You know, if I wanted to run my own version of like Tron, or you know, the evolution of the data sphere. I mean, you can do so much with this book. Really solid artwork is phenomenal. Um, I can't say enough nice things about it.
Yeah, I think it'll work really well with the Strange as well. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
think they overlap well.
Well, the thing about it is because of the way they describe the data sphere in of
Mm.
itself, you could literally make that a conduit right into the dark network. You
Mm.
know, right into the strange. You could literally, I mean, with no twist, no turn, no anything. You know, it works. So
You want to do July?
yeah, moving into July. July, you saw Beneath the Monolith was the first thing that we got in July, which was another piece of that Arcana of the Ancients Kickstarter. And that was literally the setting of Numenera, you
Mm.
know, and they kind of did, it was kind of nice. They did it kind of like, you know, dropping through the rabbit hole, you know, type deal to find this strange ninth world setting, you know, setting piece to put into your D&D game. So in other words, it could be, you could run this parallel to any game you're running, whether you're in Faerun or whatever, you know, it's, or Eberron or whatever. It was really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was beautifully written. I'll be honest, I haven't played any Numenera in 5e.
Me either.
If anyone in chat has, please let us know. How's it translate? I read all the 5e Numenera books cover to cover. I've just never actually took it to a table to play.
I have to be honest with everybody out there. You know, I come from a D&D background very long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I started, and I've played every edition of Dungeons and Dragons, but I have not played D&D proper in almost 6 years now. I
I
was in.
have not played proper D&D.
I mean, I can't say I was in a game, but I have not run anything. And even the game that I played, I was playing with a. I'm spoiled. I can't lie. Cypher System has spoiled me with the quality of GMs, the interactive nature, the GM being very creative and story driven. It was very much a disappointment to play with someone who was very linear and very much what words were written in the book is kind of what you got. So even that D&D experience, I don't really count it as a real one because it kind of sucked.
Jason NY75 said it translates well, but still best in his native system. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually not that
Mr.
I've
Fizzer
never.
said. Mr. Fizzer says every time I play 5e now, it chafes a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like I haven't played or run. I've only run 5e once, I guess, that one time, and then I haven't played since the last time we played, which was how long ago at this point? Like I haven't.
Would you
Yeah.
say,
So.
Al, you played what you ran it one time at band camp?
Oh boy. I think that's a good segue to move it along.
But either or, if you play 5e exclusively or you want to change in pace, try Numenera out in 5e. Like I said, they were great reads. They did an excellent job translating. So if that's your system of choice, why not give Numenera a go?
Right.
For
You
sure.
know, and that's truly it. You know, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. So moving on to the next item that we got for uh, July was the Threshold, which is another Invisible Sun book. I'm really not sure which book I enjoyed more, the Threshold or the Night Side book. I think Threshold, just because the Threshold was that book that kind of skirted all the established ideas because it's the basically the edge of Saturnine. It's what's beyond Saturnine, and it gave you the concepts to take your surrealism and your adventure to places unheard. It's almost I kind of could think of it as maybe you could say the Threshold was their gateway, is Invisible Sun's gateway into the strange, if you will. Pretty solid book.
And the cover art is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really love the aesthetic of
phenomenal.
all the Invisible Sun
Art a
books.
little better. Oh, that's too much. That art is super cool.
Yeah.
Jason75 says the art of Monte Cook Games reminds me of all the old school TSR artists that Monty, I'm sure, knows. Exactly.
Knows, game with, help design. Yeah. Oh, you guys ready to move on to September?
Yep.
Let's do it.
September had one release, but it was a pretty big one, and it was a well-anticipated one. We Are All Mad Here by Shauna Germain.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous book.
Yeah.
That book.
I actually played in a All Mad Here game last week. It was awesome.
I was playing in one for a minute, and I had to kind of drop out because life happened. But go ahead, what you saying?
What I really love about We All Mad Here is that the direction you could take the narrative is unlike most games. You know, when you're dealing with the fairy tale genre, you could really go out there with your narrative. You could really do the impossible things. You know, fairy tales and toons kind of operate in the same space. You know, so if you really want to try those gonzo things, you know, We All Mad Here is the game for you. You know, I played a 5-year-old girl with a huge stuffed bunny that was alive. You know, I had an absolute blast. There's so much you could do with We All Mad Here that you can't do with traditional games, and I really appreciate playing in that sandbox.
I can second that. You know, We Are All Mad Here. You know, it's funny. I'm going to bring up somebody who, you know, normally is spoken of with such disdain, but M. Night Shyamalan did a movie some years ago called was it Lady in the River or Lady by the Lake or something like that, and it was nothing but a fairy tale. It's literally what it was. It was a modern day fairy tale. It took place in this strange place, and you know, you had all these different kind of people, you know, which is interesting because We Are All Mad Here kind of addresses mental health. So you had people that were living in a housing complex that were all in, you know, all various stages of, you know, their own forms of apoplexy and so on and so forth. And it was just so interesting that there was a fairy tale. And now I'm looking at We Are All Mad Here, being able to contend with similar things, similar concepts and ideas. Such a solidly well thought out and sensitive, you know, product. You know,
yeah, I was going to say that, Dean. It deals with mental health issues, but it deals with it in a sensitive, intelligent, and an adult way, where you know you could tackle those topics, and still you know play characters that have those issues, but it doesn't define them.
right.
You know what I mean? Which is you know a great way of doing it.
Very
Yes, that's the movie Lady in the Water, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, Lady in the Water, and yeah, Mermaid Boyfriend. That was the Shape of Water, which is another one that could fall into that category. Pan's Labyrinth. These are all great movie references. If you wanted to play in something like that, We Are All Mad Here gives you the tools to do just that. You know, to bring all of that to light. You know.
Not only that,
you was gonna say
yeah,
something?
I was gonna say on top. Like, I'll let y'all handle the eloquent bits. I'll chime in with the cosmetic bits. It's a gorgeous looking book. Like inside the artwork again, like from Monte Cook Games, top notch. But what I really enjoyed was the pink fringing or whatever you call that, like accent color. I'm bad at terminology, but that color choice was very excellent, and I really enjoyed it.
The pastels in general, the pastels took you to a whole nother. It brought another aesthetic too. I mean, would not have been my choice, but the fact of the matter that they made it work so well, it's a pastel filigree is what it is. that they bordered the book in,
Super
which is
nice.
All right, Dean,
phenomenal.
I'm gonna move us along because.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is the Numenera character and creature stand-ups.
Super cool.
I like
Yeah,
props. I said before, I like props.
I,
Um,
I, go ahead.
I just think props are good, and I mean, even though I'm doing stuff in the digital space, I have a tendency to set up, little prop scenes for myself that, I'll show my players on camera or whatever. Um, and I think it just adds another element to the narrative quality of Cypher System by giving a person a visual cue. I mean, Anthony, you're awesome with that, with the imagery that you use on your Roll20 games and stuff. And I think this just speaks to that same process.
I think them following the format and the structure of how Paizo does their standees, was an excellent idea. But I will say this, now that they showed Numenera love, I think they got to come out with a set for all the settings, and they could possibly do them all together in one box set. Like
You just call it the
because
Cypher System box set and
yeah,
then
you
throw
can't just
random
give us
like.
Numenera. You
Right.
got
Give us
now
some
you got to give
definitely
us
gotta give us some
predation. You got to give us Gods of the Fall. You got to give us like
All
all
that
those
stuff.
creatures for the Cypher System book. I want to see those as well.
Wait,
And
did you say
I'll be
predation?
honest-
Because predation would benefit
Yeah,
greatly
that was
from
the
it.
first one I said.
Okay.
and like I said, I'll be honest with you guys. I honestly think they should go and talk to the guys over at the Skinny Minis people, because those things are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're a little more expensive though. The route that Paizo does it, you could put a lot more minis for $20 because you essentially got like 100 creatures for $20. You can't beat that.
That's true. But
Oh, that would be cool. Oh,
but
sorry,
I
I didn't
still
mean to
want.
cut you. I was just
I,
saying
I,
what.
I'm
Oh,
just
ship standees for Stars of Fire. Yeah,
That's what I was
a
saying
good
was
one.
cool. That's a really
Yeah.
good
ships
idea.
and vehicles, absolutely.
And you could even be like, if they wanted to get a little extra with it, they have like this big, like, what is it, ship standee that has like a little cup to put the player standees in. So
Yeah,
now they're going for a ride. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. Dudes, that's what I was talking about with the Skinny Minis. Literally, you have mounts. You can take like the flying mounts and stuff, and you can put the other minis right on them. They got little slots. You can slide them
that's
in.
what I mean. We need something like that over the spaceships and like any other sort of like vehicle or even mounts. We need some dinosaur ones.
That's what I'm saying. Definitely with the dinos.
All right. We all in agreement that the minis, the standees, are awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
The last release in September was Liminal Shore.
Liminal Shores was nothing but a setting within Voices of the Datasphere, and it was brilliantly done. I enjoyed reading the book. I've enjoyed using elements of the book. The fact that they defined one place within the Datasphere as an entire realm is awesome, which gives you, all the tools you need, to flesh out your data sphere in an entirely new and magnificent way. And it took people into the data sphere in another manner, as opposed to having to go through a translation node or something like that.
Yeah, I think Bruce really shined on this book. He really made it, visually, like you could picture it as you're reading, like this place, and makes you want to play in it. Bruce and Sean did a great job with this book. I absolutely love it. This is one of the books that even if you don't play in Numenera, you can read cover to cover and get a great read out of it to begin with, because it's so, it's so fleshed out. It's so, it gives you so many ideas to, to farm and play in your own game. They just did an absolutely wonderful job. But then again, we pretty much love most of the stuff they do, and Numenera is just that setting.
Yeah,
For sure.
And the cover is absolutely delicious. The cover is sick.
It's gorgeous.
because
Yeah.
it's dope. All right, go ahead.
What's
Al.
next here? So
October.
moving on to October, we only got one release in October, and that was a Beast of Flesh and Steel. Think that's just this is called like a, what is it, a bestiary, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the what is it? I'll get. So
The
I'm
5e
blanking right
conversion.
now.
The 5e
Yeah.
conversion of Numenera.
There we go. It is the 5e bestiary.
Mm.
Again, not too much to speak on it. Again, I don't own it. I haven't read it. The cover is gorgeous. I imagine the art within it is gorgeous as well, as per most Monte Cook Games products, or all of them, I should say. But yeah, an awesome supplement. If you're running the game in 5e, you always want to have those cool baddies on hand. And not to speak ill of 5e, but it is a little harder to craft monsters in that setting or in that system. So having a bestiary on deck, definitely nice.
You know,
Uh,
you know what's another good way of I utilize this book is I saw what the reverse conversions were from traditional Numenera creatures. And so now when I want to convert a 5e or D20 creature, I use that as the basis. You know, so like if I compare the same creature from the Numenera Cypher book and I look at it in the 5e version, now if I find a cool creature in a D20 game, I have a better idea how to convert that into Cypher.
yeah. And I was gonna say, and it seems like the sentiment is being kind of talked about over in the chat as well. The biggest thing is we're talking about D&D, so it's always nice to have another monster book that your players don't know the monster. It's the nature of Dungeons and Dragons, and this is one of those things that you can take and have a field day with. Somebody was saying it would work well for Everon, which absolutely it would. Or it could work well if you were trying to do, your own version of Barrier Peaks or White Plume Mountain, stuff like that, or where you wanted to bring, sci-fi into your
Oh yeah, not only Eberron, you got Spelljammer, you got
yeah,
Planescape.
right.
There's a lot of 5e, I mean a lot of D&D settings that Beast of Flesh is still will absolutely work well with.
Right. Or even if you decided to do just think you could do your own adventure where you had like some crazy wizard or artificer who made all of these strange creatures made from flesh and metal. These are his creations that he's unleashing on the lands. You have so many options. And like I said, that book for that reason alone is well worth any of the money you spend on it.
Jason, I'm actually converting White Plume Mountain to Cypher. It's funny that you mentioned it.
Yeah, we sat back. He's doing White Plume Mountain, and I'm going to be doing the Descent to the Depths of the Earth series with the Drow. You know, so yeah, we decided to convert old first edition D&D to Cypher system.
And
So
I'm
it's
just
good
here
stuff.
shrugging my shoulders because I don't know anything about old school D&D.
Well, this is probably beyond a few people's time, not just you, Al. We're talking like the late '70s, early '80s for a lot of this stuff. You know,
Ravenloft and Cypher would be awesome.
it will work so much better. Oh my God, because I can't stand the Curse of Strahd. I ran it. That was the last thing I was running before I left D&D, and oh, don't even get me started. Let's go to November.
Whose turn is it?
Me. It's me, November. So November, last month that they were releasing things, we got the Jade Colossus 5e conversion guide. And that was part of the Arcana of the Ancients Kickstarter, right?
Yep.
So literally,
PDF only.
yeah, PDF only. It was a stretch goal, I think, or something. But the cool thing about that is that Jade Colossus introduced some nice little tweaks into Numenera, like the Ruin Generator, which is an excellent dungeon generator. And if you have the deck, the Ruin deck, it could probably work just as well for 5e, which is pretty damn awesome for you to randomly generate a dungeon on the fly. Um, and I think that was the biggest thing that was coming through that, with the 5e conversion guide. So great piece of gaming supplement there.
Once again, I know this goes in line with supplying the 5e crowd, the Numenera thing, but J Colosseum is awesome in Cypher System. So, you know, I own it, I read it, it's just not for me. You know?
I mean, Jade Claws again. If you're running 5e, this is an awesome thing to have. Especially because I'm assuming if you're running 5e, you enjoy that dungeon crawling aspect. And if you're running, what is it? If you're creating your own dungeons, sometimes you might hit a wall with creativity. You whip out this book, boom, your creativity's flowing. If you have the deck, even better, because then you can just like whip up a random thing just by looking at these few cards. But yeah, super awesome tool. Just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean the Ruin deck. I never thought I was going to be a guy who liked cards, but Monte Cook Games in the concepts of how they do their cards are a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just great to just shut off your brain and just use a generator.
Yeah,
like have everything just random. Sometimes that's just hella fun too. Maybe it's the old school, gamer in me, but
right.
that everything random is just freaking fun every once in a while.
Well, you remember the random encounter chart?
Yeah.
That was classic for. Oh, they made camp random chart.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because we.
Last but not least, for the year November.
November.
Last of the year, November. Last product of the year, but last but not least, Godforsaken. For me, I dance back and forth in between Stay Alive and Godforsaken. Both of those products were just brilliantly done. Stay Alive would probably get a tick higher only because, shameless plug, I just had to do a magic system for fantasy, and Godforsaken is the inspiration for that. Fantasy setting, fantasy toolkit gives you lots of ideas and ways to go to build fantasy into your cipher system. It's just gonna add greatly to Anthony and myself's conversions, I'm quite sure. Beautiful artwork, and I'll talk a little bit more about my product after the guys talk about Godforsaken.
Okay, now.
No, I was just gonna say I already said at the beginning of the video. I think that I haven't redeemed it yet. So, I will say this though, the cover is gorgeous. I just love that style they chose for these covers. That silhouetted, I don't know what you call this style. You don't really see details. It's more silhouette-y with the the shading and the lighting or whatever have you. It's freaking it was a wonderful style choice by, I guess, Bear would have been the one to decide this. One excellent chef's kiss on all these covers, just so good.
I think Godforsaken is an excellent book. I think I know a lot of people would chat, and on our server we hear the not necessarily complaints, but the wishing that there's more to it, right? And I think my response to that is that Godforsaken has a minimal setting, which is pretty cool, right? Has a pretty good creature and a pretty good equipment section, but it's meant as a toolkit like Stay Alive. I think part of the critiques that Godforsaken gets that I feel is a little unjust is because they want it to be something that it wasn't designed to be. I think Godforsaken was designed to be a toolkit. I'm sorry. I got hit with the COVID.
Oh boy.
It's not designed to be a fully fleshed out. Here's traditional fantasy in Cypher System. That's not what the book is. I think Godforsaken with Gods of the Fall and the soon to be released Tolus, you have a better grasp of how to deal with traditional fantasy and Cypher, but I don't think it was meant to be just this book giving you that. So I know a lot of times I hear the disappointment in Godforsaken. I just think that it's let Tolus come out and then you'll see the full picture. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm like the expert, but I just do think that it does need. I think it's gonna need Tolis, like the two Tolis books, to really give you an idea what Godforsaken could do for Cypher System and Fantasy.
Let me chime in on that, Anthony, because I think you hitting the nail on the head. And just maybe I can drive it home for people. If you paid attention to what all the books for Your Best Game Ever were, all the genre books, they were not a single one of them were built to answer every question. They were built to inspire. They were built to give you the pieces of the puzzle so you could start fleshing out. And again, the most unique thing about Cypher System is that it allows you to create a game that is yours. There's a unique factor. You know what? Anthony might run, prime example. Anthony and I are running classic first edition, games, first edition modules in Cypher System. We're converting them. I would be so bold as to say that Anthony and my games are in the same world, but the game experience you're going to get is going to be entirely different because it's mine, even though we can say we share the same world. Cypher System gives you that ability to be able to say, I'm, within a world, but guess what? I'm in somebody else's culture. I'm in somebody else's, I'm in somebody else's city. I'm in, another part of the world, but it's the same world. And I think once people, embrace that concept, that aspect, they'll start to be able to appreciate what the offerings of Cypher System, and especially the genre books. The genre books make me feel good because that's the person I am. I don't like a 190% fleshed out world and I've only got 10% wiggle room. Those things bug me.
Yeah, we definitely prefer to have that wiggle room to like insert our own stuff, play with stuff. The more defined something is, well, this is me personally, I find myself liking it less. Because then I feel like the players who read that source material are going to come into my games thinking like, hey, the book says this, this, and this. Why isn't it that way in your game? Well, I didn't read the book. So that's usually my answer. It's like, I didn't read that part. So it's actually this way.
Well, Al, that's just a sign that you learned from Anthony. Because, Anthony was the guy that went to Gen Con, took one of the pre-written adventures, read the title, and then ran the game.
Exactly. So I kind of have an idea based on this, the title and then, 2 sentences in the beginning. Like, I can fucking run this.
I read more than the title. All right. Granted, I didn't read the whole adventure, but I read what it was about, and I read the end. I read, the beginning and the end.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
No, listen. Anthony read the title, he read the last 2 sentences, and ran the game, and everybody loved it. Let me really put it that way. They loved the game that he ran. It was awesome. I was at the table right next to him, and I was catching snatches and grabs because I was running the same thing, and it was great because it was like, damn, I need to run that game, But everybody loved it. It was awesome. Exactly, Jason 75 MCG Cliff Notes.
Just to go back to Godforsaken, I think it's a good book. I think Godforsaken, my final statement point is, I think it's going to be more appreciated after Tolis comes out.
And
I could be wrong, but let's revisit it after Tolis comes out.
Well, Tolis and the Diamond Throne, those are going to give you a lot of good things. And just so everybody knows, in maybe a week, 10 days or so, I'm going to be releasing Malvando's Mythic Vadimecum, which is a magic supplement for, Godforsaken, for fantasy in Cypher System, to give you a more traditional feel. So you have spells at your disposal, magic items, options for enchantments and things like that on magic items. It was a love-hate project because I really didn't want to do it because I thought, everybody could have kind of did it themselves. But in the same process, it was really good to like flesh these ideas out. I've been play testing them. They're coming along pretty cool. But once again, this is also a toolkit. You know, it's supplemental. It's not built for you to answer every question. It's built to give you enough seeds to answer your own questions. So look for that, people. I hope everybody, gets a copy of that as well. And that, like I said, that'll be available a week to 10 days. It'll be up on Drive Through RPG.
Nice.
And so, with that being said, um, we're going to move right into our last segment, which is Monte Cook Games' business plan for their products and funding is through Kickstarter. So let's talk about all the Kickstarter projects released by Monte Cook Games using the Cypher system in 2020. Anthony?
So February of 2020 was a big one. They released the Tolus, the Monte Cook City and the Spire Kickstarter. They unlocked 10 stretch goals and they raised $782,923.
That's wild.
Anybody that played the original Tolus and saw the size of that book,
672 pages.
Yeah, you could literally play for years just in the city of Tolus. There's so much, and I'm so excited to see the Cypher system version. I like all the other Kickstarters. I back them at the everything level, so I backed at the 5e and the Cypher system level. But I can't wait to get my hands on Tolus and Cypher system. Oh my God, we're gonna do some really crazy stuff in Tolus.
Tolus is one of my favorite. Tolus was the first time I ever spent what I would call ridiculous money on an RPG back in the day. When Monty did it, it was pre-order only. It was like, I think it was $150 or something like that at the time. But it was 672 pages. And the brilliant part about the way the Tolus book is written is it was written like a travel guide. So how awesome is that you could literally it was color coded, the spine was color coded and stuff. That's where he introduced that design philosophy for, call outs in the margins. That's where that all came from, that design philosophy, because it became necessary to tell you where to go to find such and such if you needed to do this, because they would make reference to it in one section but it was indigenous to something else. It was designed to literally take you from 1st to 20th level in one place. If you're not familiar with the idea of Tolus had everything. It was a city, it was a dungeon crawl, and it was a major big bad all in one. And if you wanted wilderness adventure, you just went outside.
And that when we had Charles on, he said it's actually bigger than the original.
Right.
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, he had to make it a little bit bigger.
Was huge. So imagine.
And like Anthony said, we all backed it at get everything in print level, which is, I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I've already been crafting my own fantasy realm. Like I said, I've been play testing stuff, and it's just going to be so much fun to add those elements in as they come, which is kind of the essence of like when you game anyway. I don't know about you guys, but I know Anthony probably experienced it. You went to your gaming session with your campaign to find out what the next thing you were going to discover. The next city. You spend so long in one city, and then the next thing you're traipsing across the countryside, or you're down in somebody's dungeon or at a wizard's old keep. And that's what I'm feeling these days when you talk about Tolus.
Al, you was gonna chime in on this?
Oh yeah, no. All I was gonna say was that Tolus is a book that I obviously have never picked up before the original. What is it? Was it 3rd edition, 3.5?
Third edition.
I'm just excited to see how they translate all that stuff into a Cypher system, like Anthony said. But I'm most excited to just have a big ass book. I don't think I have any book that's that big. Like literally, I don't think maybe no. There's nothing that even comes close to that big.
And most books are not 600 pages.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I have literally no other book
And this is
that's that
almost
big.
7. You know, technically, and when you count all of the props and stuff that come extra, it's literally over 1,000 pages.
So yeah, quite excited to own a very big book.
And you know how beloved Tolis is? They raised
Almost $1 million.
Almost
$800,000
$1 million
Almost $1
bucks.
million. That's
on a
insane.
setting book.
In-
Just think about
In
that.
30 days.
Yeah.
In 30. That's
Almost $1
wild.
million on a setting book. That tells you how much Tolis is loved.
That's
It was-
insane.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I used to get angry because somebody stole my book. You know, they stole my book, man. It was like, are you?
That's wild. That sucks.
So now I'm gonna, but I have it again. So
I never GM Tolis, but I was a player in a Tolis campaign that ran like almost 2 years.
yeah, I GM'd. Fond memories. I can't wait to, I really cannot wait to bring back some of the stuff I created. Convert it over, or adapt it to Cypher. Because I had a group, I had a guild in Tolis called the Ravagers, and they literally were muscle, but they were good guys. They only, like the guilds would hire them out when they needed to go beat people up. That's literally what they were all about. I can't wait to have this stuff in here.
Not sure, Louis or Louis, however you pronounce it. They usually send an email or something when it's time to choose your rewards for that sort of thing. So yeah, just keep a lookout in your email for that.
I am curious though how Tolis is going to translate, because 3.0 was pretty crunchy.
Oh.
So I'm laughing because it's literally the first time anyone said that. Literally the first time anyone said that. This dude's wearing shades and doors.
He always wears his shades, Kasani.
This is quite literally the first time anyone has said that. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right. I think that's a good segue so we don't keep harping, because we could talk all night about Tolis, I think. That's how much people like
absolutely.
it. So let's move it on. I'll talk about the next Kickstarter. The next Kickstarter put out by Monte Cook Games themselves was one we just pretty much just finished, the Heroes of the Cypher System, to be more specific. Quite awesome setting books. It was one for supers and then one for more realistic, the first responders, and just an overall awesome Kickstarter idea. I know a lot of people were clamoring.
It was 3 books.
Oh, what was the third book?
Supers.
Yeah.
Supers.
But what was the third book? I'm blanking.
Well, there's Claim the Sky, which is the toolkit book, like
The Origin.
Yeah.
and then there was Origins, which is a full-on setting, which talks about what happens, what the world is like when superheroes first come into the world, and then of course first responders.
So yeah, those 3 books, and then let me look here at our notes. That Kickstarter got they got 6 stretch goals unlocked, and they raised $178,643. Not bad for something that's so niche and specific, like, and to Cypher System. Like, we can see why Tolis did so amazingly. That had a wide reach of nostalgia and love. This brand new thing, pretty good. They got 6 stretch goals, nice stuff. And yeah, I know I'm super excited for Heroes Supplement.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go and then we'll let Dean go. I'm gonna touch a couple of points. I'll talk about the elephant in the room. Not bad, but I think it could have been a lot better. Like, I was disappointed that we didn't hit the 250K for the bestiary. I think that I think it was because it was so. Maybe it was because it was a niche setting and genre which they'd never done before, but I honestly thought they were going to hit the 250K for the bestiary.
Same.
And I would think that they were expecting to hit it as well. You know what I mean? As we've gone back and done research on we actually have a YouTube video where we broke down the last 3 years worth of Kickstarter, and this is the least raised Kickstarter in the last 3 years for MCG, and like, I'm super excited for the books. This, which hurts me on a personal level, because I think, I really wanted to see it hit 250K on this.
I think a lot of people want, like, even I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Razagan said, they unfortunately didn't hit the bestiary goal. Which again, unfortunate, but maybe if we talk enough about it, they'll see there's an interest and still make it.
Yeah.
Down the line,
And I can say the same thing, but I think it's kind of it's just a double edge. This particular Kickstarter, I don't think it would have done as big as any of the other Kickstarters. I do think they could have made the 250. I also think that we just had a lot of mitigating factors that that stood in the way. You had COVID, you had the stupidity of the election, you had people not knowing if they're going to get a stimulus package. We've got what 3 million people out of work.
It's wild.
That hurt. You got to think February, everybody was still working, everybody was still good. Everybody, it was, the beginning of the year when we got, when we did Tollus, and then you come to the end of the year and everybody's future is really kind of uncertain,
Not everybody had those dollars.
It was a niche. It is a niche ideology, but I just think that a little bit of the marketing may have been a little bit lax. I know I got quite a few people kind of to jump on, just like from some of the superhero groups that I was in on Facebook, because people didn't even know that it was happening. I love superheroes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's my favorite genre to run because I can do whatever the hell I want. I love superheroes. If you go back and watch our video when we interviewed Sean K. Reynolds, you could see me geeking out. Somebody said I was glowing.
Facts.
So, yeah, pretty cool stuff though.
Yeah, I think you guys absolutely hit the nail on the head with the reasons why, of course COVID, of course the unemployment rate, the uncertainty in the economic, market uncertainty in government, there was all sorts of factors that played in. But from a personal level, like my gut feeling is telling me that next year's Kickstarters aren't going to be Cypher related. That's just my gut feeling. So I'm thinking that we might go a whole year without a possibility of getting the Cypher System bestiary. And on a selfish level, I I wanted to get it because I think that was a book I was really looking forward to.
Mr. Fizzer said he caught it by chance. 4 hours to spare. Wow. Glad you made it though, buddy. That's good stuff.
Yeah, those books are gonna be awesome.
And Al, what was our last Kickstarter for 2020?
I'll let you talk about that because it wasn't a Monte Cook Games specific one. It was adjacent in a way, and you actually have a tie to it.
Yes, I do. It was the Diamond Throne. It was another setting that Monte Cook did in 3E.
It came out September 2020.
Right, September 2020. Another setting that Monte Cook did in 3E that's being adapted to Cypher System. 18 stretch goals were unlocked. It made 75,268, and I think that's pounds. So I think that translates to around 90, or maybe it was just over 100,000. What is it, Anthony? Do you have it?
It's 76. I don't have
dollars.
Conversion.
No conversion.
75,000
268
euros.
Yeah, euros. It's 75,268 euros. We can look it up, or you can look it up what it is in dollars. Actually, this was a setting that was near and dear to my heart as well. I ran this adjacent to Tollus during that time. Monte Cook introduced a lot of interesting concepts that became standards in 3E. Prestige classes and ritual magic and things of that nature all became parts of 3E because of the Diamond Throne books, which originally were titled Arcana Evolved, and it was first Arcana Unearthed, and then it became Arcana Evolved. $92,492. So the setting is rich. It introduced some new races. It introduced new ways and new approaches for character classes. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome in Cypher system. And what's really cool too, as Al said, I do have a tie to it. I actually uh, was hired onto the writing team. They call us the Diamond Team. So I'm actually an official writer, along with another member of our of Cypher Unlimited, Gonza Gaming. A lot of people who know out there might know that guy. And we get to work next to the likes of people like Ed Greenwood and Robert Schwab. So, we're in good company. And it's I think it's going to be pretty damn awesome when you put Tullus, Godforsaken, and this book together. Your fantasy options are going to be through the roof.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Diamond Throne. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting to see what your guys come up with. And Diamond Throne has some interesting magic elements that I'm curious to see how it's going to translate to Cipher. So uh, I'm, I must admit I've seen some of your work for it, so I can't spoil anything. But I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised.
Uh,
Most
yeah,
definitely.
Jason 75, absolutely, sir. Ed Greenwood definitely, and Robert Schwab too. Because I don't know if you know about Shadow of the Demon Lord,
Yeah.
but that is some pretty awesome stuff there
I have
too.
that book right there.
Oh, it's talking about that. I'm gonna write a little something for that too,
Nice.
for Shadow of the
Awesome.
Demon
Good
Lord. So it's
stuff.
kind of cool. Yeah, the writing. I gotta keep in that creative mode. So no negativity, people. Send me all your positive ideas.
All
Definitely,
right,
we'll say hi to
guys.
Elminster.
Oh, we went through last year's Kickstarter, so let's move it along a little. I'm gonna ask you guys. So what do now that we're approaching 2021, right? What are your guys are looking forward to in 2021? What's your wish for Monte Cook Games or the gaming industry? And chat as well. What are your guys looking forward to?
Well, for me, I would say I just like props. I was saying it. I've said it a couple of times already in this video. More props, more stuff that will invigorate that visual aspect that will inspire and help flesh out those descriptions. I've gotten to the point that I've learned that um, that theater of the mind, and the setup is so important. It makes your game so much better. So that's for me. Yeah, Jason said
Oh,
more stand up minis.
Kazwek, the reason why we didn't mention Title Blades is because the official Kickstarter hasn't launched yet.
Or unless that's their wish for next year that they're excited for,
Oh,
looking forward
oh,
to.
okay.
Because I'm definitely looking forward to that as well.
We are all looking forward to it. We all want to play freaking turtles.
Um, are there any specific props you're looking forward to, Dean? Like something that they currently don't have?
What I think what really would be nice, we've talked about like the standees and stuff like that, but if they did more like physical props, like for furniture and landscapes and stuff like that, because Cipher System is so rich with the visuals. Just imagine having some of that stuff that you could put on a table in front of your people to set a scene. You know that I think that would be awesome.
It would.
Yeah, like Johnny 75 said, terrain pieces and so on and so forth. Somebody else said earlier that uh they were talking about like Warhammer or something, use the interior of the boxes, turn those into like ship decks and stuff like that. Stuff like that would be awesome if you just had stuff that you could pop open, you know. Remember the old pop-up books that we used to have as
Mm.
kids? Just imagine being able to pop up something and it's a monolith
Yo,
or
that's actually a super cool idea. Pop up scene books where it's just like, hey, you need a
yeah,
quick scene, just whoop, turn to the right page, and out it comes, all standy. That's
yeah.
actually a super cool idea.
I think there is one for 5e like that that was kickstarted, something like
Yeah,
that.
something. They got a couple. They've got a
Yeah.
couple of map books like that. They got map atlases. They've also got somebody put out this latest stuff. They put out some pop up terrain, but I don't think anybody has just a thing that it's kind of interactive with the scene pieces. But it'll be cool though. Whatever.
All right, so any of you graphic designers out there, make it happen. Make it happen, Captain.
And if you need help, call me. I got ideas out the yin yang.
But yeah, for me, something I wish for, I think I say this every single year, is, well, I'm gonna be more generic with it. I usually say I want a Magical Girl supplement, but anything for like anime inspired stuff, I think would be awesome. I feel like a lot of people draw their inspiration from watching anime or reading manga or something. It's a very like wide reference point for games. And having a supplement book akin to like Stay Alive, where it's like a toolkit with like tropes and ciphers and stuff like that, and optional rules, obviously, to make those tropes work in your games, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I know there's been a couple people that tackled kaiju, but nobody's really tackled like what you said, Magical Girl, like the anime genre as a
whole.
toolkit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, My Hero Academia.
Ah, my hero, my hero, my hero.
My thing is pretty simple. You know, I want to see organized play done in Cypher system. You know, to the extent where it's bigger. You know, like where I know that they have the Cypher the asset team, but I want to see it in a bigger scope. You know what I mean? Like organized play spread out. I know that spread out across multiple stores, and more help for people that run games and physical stores or online. And I like to see MCG support streamers and YouTube channels. I know that the affiliation program has come out, so I like to see how see that working, and more actual plays of Cypher System. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so real quick to the chat. Stozart, yes, Guyver all day long. As a matter of fact, I might just have to go ahead and craft a bio booster one shot. Come to the server, we'll get it done. Jason75 says, come run organized play at his convention in August if COVID is done. Where's the convention at, Jason?
Yeah, but what I meant is more support by MCG.
Yeah.
Oh wait, someone from Arizona too? I live in Arizona now.
Al is in Arizona. I used to live there. I used to live in Arizona. I actually been to Maricopa Con. Okay.
I actually live in Maricopa County.
What's the name? The other con that they had there.
Yeah, that's where I live, Maricopa County.
Yeah. I lived right there. I lived in Phoenix for a while, and then I also lived in Tempe.
Oh man, we gotta get some games together then, y'all who are in Arizona when all this COVID stuff is down or over with.
You got Razagan too.
Now finally, now we have this is like the first time I've heard like CU people saying that like they're near or from Arizona. So nice.
You gotta set up a game, Al.
Once all this COVID stuff is done, for sure.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun.
Alumni, nice.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Jason told you should see his house, Al.
Yeah, I would definitely come over again once all this stuff is done and over with. I'm so down. Like, I don't have really any friends out here. Like, I have my coworkers and they're my friends. Like, that's about it.
Come on, Ant, take us to the next sport.
All right, what you call it? I guess we'll move on to what do you guys wish the next? Because they do 2 Kickstarters every year. What do you think the next year's Kickstarters are going to look like?
Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. Probably, well, more than likely, I think you kind of touched on it. Probably a new game. I think they're probably going to introduce us to something new, because it's about that time. You think about it. We had Numenera for like 2 years. Then they introduced the Strange. We had that for a couple of years. Then they introduced Invisible Sun. Had that for a couple of years, and we got Cypher, so on and so forth. So that's what I think might happen. But what I would like to see, another Worlds of the Cypher System Kickstarter where they did some supplemental follow-up stuff to Predation, Gods of the Fall, and Unmasked, and then probably gave us like 2 or 3 more, setting books, kind of like they did with the genre settings. So like Al's anime, I'd like to see a book about, like gritty settings where you could do, you know, uh, real gritty, grimy, down to earth, dangerous cipher system. Then I could do movies. We could do all sorts of stuff. But that's me.
I have something a little unconventional that I want to see a Kickstarter for it. I think it might be cool. It might be out of the realm of a Kickstarter due to maybe the cost, but a Monte Cook Games con, like let's all pitch in money so that we can all go hang out together, and I think that would be cool as hell. Like it would just be all like-minded individuals. Like most gaming conventions are like that, but we would have basically everyone wants to play Cypher. Like everybody wants to play Invisible Sun, Numenera, all that stuff. You wouldn't have to go looking for these individuals because everybody there would be there to play those games. I think that would be super cool, but again, I don't know the logistics of like funding a con through Kickstarter. I don't know if that's a thing, but I would love to see that.
That's awesome.
I think for me, I think that like pretty much what Dean said. I think that the actual Kickstarters are possibly going to be Invisible Sun, like something additional for Invisible Sun, maybe a new game. I think Cypher System might not be in this year's plans, but what I would like to see is I would like to see them revise the Strange, like the way they did Numenera. Maybe come in with a 2-book box set and bring back the Strange. That would be awesome.
I think that would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, give it the revised version of the Strange. I would really like to see that. That would be pretty cool. My gut feeling is telling me though we're not going to see any Cypher System related products this year.
I mean, we'll see. Only time will tell. Really. And like it would be super awesome if they saw this video. And I know they watch, so like, hi guys, if you're watching on YouTube. But Monte Cook Games Con, even if you can't do it through Kickstarter, let's get that going. Ooh, but yeah.
If they don't do it, we could always do a Cypher Unlimited con.
Yep, that's the backup goal.
Well, Cypher Unlimited con, that could happen.
Ooh, but I think this has been a fantastic talk, guys. We discussed all the wonderful stuff Monte Cook Games has put out this year. Our hopes for next year, some wish list stuff. Any other final words here? I think we've pretty much hit all the topics for today.
No. Jason, I'm in New York, so we can definitely make it happen.
No idea where CCon would be. A Midwest would be like a good gathering point since it's like equidistant for most people, but like we have so many people in like New York City or like in certain places, maybe even in like Monte Cook Games territory. Was it Seattle or I don't know where most of them are. I forget what state a lot of them are.
Well, they're all Chicago. Over the place too, because you got to think.
Yeah, a lot of them are in
the Ryans are in Kansas City. Some people are in Chicago.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, someone in the chat asked if there's a stipulation for streaming Cypher System. No, there is no stipulation. That's pretty much across the board for any RPG. You could stream anything you like. Mm-hmm. It's your interpretation of the game. There's no license over streaming.
Can we draw a pentagram in the
Paizo has a con too.
Yeah.
Oh man, y'all are all killing me with these.
So as far as any last thoughts, overall for me, guys, I just want to say, first of all, Anthony, Al, love you guys like brothers to me. So happy to be, part of this crew. Everybody out there in the interwebs, all our Cypher Unlimited family on the server, on our Facebook channels, on Twitter, wherever you follow us, wherever you're at. Let's have a happy and prosperous new year. I hope everybody's, life starts to get back on track, that, we start to come out of this hole that we've been in. It's my prayer for everybody, and, let's just keep gaming. Let's at least keep that positive vibe going. Let's keep doing what we do. And Anthony L, like I said, love you guys. Happy New Year, fellas.
I mean, Dean, hit the nail on the head. Like what Dean said, we absolutely love and appreciate all the support we've been given over the last year and a half. And it's hard to believe that three idiots chatting about gaming, people want to come and hear us talk, and we really appreciate it. Have a happy and healthy New Year. I know 2020 was a very hard and troubling year, but it's only going to get better. Like 2021 is going to be the year not only for gaming to shine, but the year for humanity to shine. So let's keep our heads up. Let's roll some funny shaped dice. Let's have a good time. Let's smile. Let's bring our spirits up. And last but not least, if you like us and you like what we do, the spiel that I always give, follow us here on Twitch. Go to YouTube, follow us there, like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Our content is always free, but a little follow goes a long way. You can support it. We have a Ko-fi set up. You can support us with little things, helps us play with our Zoom course, or you could get this cool Cypher Unlimited gear, either way. But if you don't, that's okay too. We love you. It doesn't matter. We just happy you here chatting with us, and I'll let Al cut us out, but thank you so much. We love you guys.
Yeah, it was a wonderful talk. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed that someone made that first time comment of, he's wearing sunglasses indoors. But either way.
That's Cassini. He chats a lot on the server.
That's hilarious to me. That's actually hilarious. No one's ever said that before. But either way, thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. As usual, stay healthy for this new year coming up. We want to see y'all throughout the New Year's and the years to come. Can't do that if you're sick or dying, so stay well, stay safe. And yeah, from us at the CU, we will see you later.
Bye, guys.
Good night.